welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Welcome to episode 235.
You keep track of this shit. I'm too intermittent right now to keep track of this.
That was more of a question than anything else. Welcome to episode 235. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about getting back into the game when you've been out of it for a while, and what to do when you have like a cheater in your midst, type thing. Oh, and I see Xander only says hi to John now. I'm Chopped Liver. Thank you, Xander. I love you too.
We weren't going to tell you, but if you're going to guess.
So let's go and get to the business. Guys, we want to thank Turbo Dork for sponsoring us and giving everything that they've done, and everybody should have their gift certificates. If you don't, let me know, and I will make sure that it gets to you. They do some really cool color shifting paints and metallic paints. Make sure you check them out. If you're coming to Warfare Weekend, they are bringing everything. We want to thank Muse on Minis. They are still trying to get their webpage back up so we can have everything distributed through them. But we still got a cool little discount code if you want to go check them out. They make very good widgets and token sets. I heard the MCP version is actually really, really good. A lot of people like it. And then we want to thank Parabellum Wargames. Go check out Conquest or First Blood, which is their skirmish version of Conquest. I did show off their new trophy for Warfare Weekend for their 2,000 point event. And I'll be working on the smaller trophy while on stream today. And you can check out all their cool stuff. We want to thank Midnight Heroes. We want to have him a lot of good vibes sent his way. The owner recently had some health issues, namely 2 heart attacks in one day. Had a pacemaker and he's okay. He's doing fine. But we want to make sure we send some good vibes his way. He says he's still coming to Warfare Weekend, and I told him, you take care of yourself first. Don't worry about anything else after that. Because he sent me a message saying, hey, I know I was supposed to promise you product before October. And I'm like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Health first.
Health first, dude. That is more important than any product. But he says he's going to try to still be there for Warfare Weekend. And I'm like, as long as your health is fine, I'm okay. We also want to thank Mini Masterworks. Thanks to you for letting us know that the link was not working. John, I will get in contact with him and see how everything's going. Maybe they're just refreshing everything, but they always have some cool products there. I think I got everybody.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did get everybody. So, do we have any shout outs this week?
I haven't been paying attention.
I don't think we have any deaths that we need to talk about. But we can also shout out to individual people to say, hey, way to go or whatever. I don't have anybody off the top of my head. I thought I did. But I've slept since,
It's been so
night.
crazy. I don't even know, dude.
It's been a pretty wild week of getting things done and such.
Shout out to everyone who had to suffer through Hurricane Ian. Hopefully you all are doing okay. Yes. Stay safe. Hopefully nothing else comes your guys' way. Yep. It's going to be a heck of a thing rebuilding. Oh, yeah. I've seen some footage from some of the beaches, and it is what you expect when a hurricane hits a beach, but still terrible to see.
Oh, of course. Of course, we want to give out a good shout out for our friend Kathy, making sure she's taking and doing everything she can. We miss her a bunch. We wish that she gets better quickly so she can come back on the podcast. All right. Super, super important question, John. Are you ready?
Sure.
What are you drinking tonight?
I have Fireball whiskey.
Fireball whiskey?
Okay. Straight.
Just straight. No ice. Nothing.
Straight.
Just straight. I am drinking a Remy Martin XO cognac. Just a little bit today. Not a lot.
No, Captain Mizzy. I did not fucking measure. I just poured. That's enough.
That's John's thing. You don't measure. You just pour until you're happy.
When you're drinking straight, absolutely. So, measure when you're mixing a drink.
So I'm going to be drinking that today. So, guys, we appreciate you listening either here, live, SoundCloud, whatever streaming things, YouTube. Don't care. We appreciate it a lot.
Yep. Absolutely.
We appreciate anything that you do to help us out and support us. Guys, please be safe out there. Just found out a friend of mine just got COVID, but is asymptomatic type thing. But got to be safe. Make sure you get your vaccine. If you're going to get a booster, get your boosters. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't pick the hooker's nose when you pick her up. Just be nice and happy. And
so how many times have to tell you? You only call them hookers when they're dead. If they're alive, they're prostitutes.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. Nomenclature.
It's important.
Guys, please be safe out there. We want to hear that everybody's safe. We see you at the next convention that you go to. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's tasty. Got a bite.
This reminds me that Jack Tennessee Fire is much more drinkable by itself. Not as sweet, but this is not bad.
It is not bad. All right, I'm going to switch over to the paint cam. John, we have 2 topics tonight. One of them might be a small rant. One of them is more of a discussion. And one of them is where you said you might have to punch someone in the throat.
Well, that's 3. I mean, obviously cheaters could deserve a throat punch, but
could deserve a throat punch.
Probably shouldn't resort to violence. Dude, your camera's all messed up. You're at an angle, and
I'm all janky.
You're extra janky, and we're on this wrong screen, probably.
Yeah, we are. I want to make sure I get everything there. The bases came out good.
What bases are those?
These are for...
Did you make those last stream?
Yeah.
When I wasn't here?
Yep.
Okay, just checking.
These were for... a little washed out, though. A little white. I bet you it switched up and went back to the default. So, I'm going to fix that because that annoys the poopy out of me.
Those are looking good.
Yeah, that's for... that's going to be for the Malifaux stuff. Which I did get all the Malifaux stuff in, so... Booyah!
Sorry, not sorry that Captain Mizzy's models are cooler.
Well...
But that's what happens when you choose the man as your faction. And she chooses cool stuff.
Let's first turn off autofocus, because that's a big problem. Let's put in normal, and then let's change up the contrast.
Welcome to Live Setting Your Camera with Gonzo and John. I'm sure my camera's not set up properly. I don't actually fucking care. You can see me? Sorry. You can kind of see over my shoulders some of my models and stuff. So, there you go. I think that's good enough. Because you're a cool one and Gonzo's basic AF. Sounds all right.
All right, so I gotta get some stuff done, and really it's not gonna be very interesting because it's gonna be doing some white priming and everything. Where's my white primer? So.
You just keep popping those up. I can't spike all of them on you. It's just weird.
So this is the Warcaster trophy, which is a shield and one of their swords, and so I'm gonna put some white in here just to make some glow effects, and just to make it just so it's not just a gold thing.
Fair enough.
And then work on the Infinity Gauntlet.
So Banyan says that you are the epitome of a pumpkin spice latte drinking Ugg boot wearing basic B. Wow.
That's okay.
This is escalated quickly.
He loves me anyway.
It's funny because he hates pumpkin. That actually makes it extra funny. You're right.
Yeah, I can't stand pumpkin stuff.
Oh, I don't mind it. Just in moderation, like all things, like my whiskey.
Oh. Can't stand pumpkin spice drinks or food or anything. Where's my glasses?
Does that mean
Okay.
you don't like pumpkin pie?
Really, I don't like pumpkin pie.
Do you like sweet potato pie?
I don't have a problem with sweet potato pie. I'm okay with that.
They're the same fucking thing. Taste-wise, they taste almost identical.
No, fucking no, they don't. You
Yeah,
are
they
high
do.
as shit if you think sweet potato tastes the same
Sweet,
as pumpkin.
no, not sweet potato, but sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie are very, very similar.
No, they have a whole
Oh
different.
yeah,
You're so high.
very much not. You're just crazy.
You cray cray. So we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about the one that's just because everybody's kind of getting back into the games. Stores are opening up. Everybody's kind of getting back in the game, and a lot of us have not played games, our favorite games, in a while, or we're just getting back into them, type thing. And so, one of the things that came up this week was, what do you do when you come back into a game that you haven't played in forever, and should you take it slow? Should you take it just play like normal? What happens if you kind of mess up the rules, etc., etc. type thing. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad little topic.
Well, I
Because
mean, it's easy to start with. Don't go all in. You got to take it slow.
take it slow.
I mean,
Slow
it's
down.
not just because you're not getting in there. Oh, well, Marshall decided to redeem Transformers. What do we do?
In the middle of you trying to talk about stuff.
Yeah, he's got the greatest timing.
Hey, El
I will
Marshall.
grab
Thanks for giving Gone
Gigawatt
shit.
here. This is Gigawatt. So yeah, you want to take it slow. You're going to want to review what's happened in the game since you left because
Especially
it's going to be important.
especially if you've been gone for a while. Like
Yes.
I
The
have
longer you've been gone, the more you'll need to. And it's how gone you are. I mean, what kind of gone are we talking about here? And I'm going to stop there because it's actually a song, and I'm going to try not to sing it because not everyone likes country songs.
I mean, the one thing you have to do is a new edition changed since you've been gone? If not, cool. That might help you out. Has a new FAQ been dropped? Maybe, maybe not.
I hit a stumbling point. This foot is not moving as it's supposed to, which I find weird because it should just. Oh, it's just stiff. All
So I
right.
mean, that's something you have to look for. You have to look out for it. Has a new edition dropped? Has an FAQ dropped? You
Yep.
know, have you been out for years, or have you just been out because of COVID type thing?
Exactly. Yes, that too. Wheels got to come out on the front here.
And the one thing that I have to say that if you've been out of a game for forever, like you've been out for years, download the new rule set, read it over, check over
Mm.
what your army has done or been doing, because if you still have your army, and you can test it
Yes.
out and see.
Oh, so I see Legion has decided rants. Legion has decided on rants. He wants to hear rants. This
Not
one's
yet.
weird. It's actually got a little locker that a little locking piece that rolls over the thumb or rolls over the shoulder and then can lock in, which is cool. The other ones who like this don't, because this is just a reused mold basically from sideswiping the Lamborghinis. But I like that they did a little extra. He's a little wider though, because he's a uh, DeLorean.
Ugh. Hey, check this out.
What you got? Oh, Infinity Gauntlet. That's cool.
Yeah, I got it. All thing I got to do is really just paint the gemstones on this, and it should be good to go.
Yeah, so that's there. That one's not hooked in right now. I can't
But
tell.
if you've got a game that you used to play in, first thing I would
Mhm.
do is go check if you got a new edition or an FAQ, especially if you've been out for a year or so.
Yeah, if you've been out for long, let me just check to see what came out in the meantime. If you've got friends, ask them like, "Hey, I'm jumping back in." They're usually happy to have you back in. What did I miss?
Yeah. Oh well, they did a balance update to the game. Here it is.
Yep,
Cool.
exactly. That'll tell you there.
And your first thing is to do is read over your shit.
Yes. Read yo shit. That
R-
sounds terrible when you say it that way.
yeah.
But
Sorry, guys, you're not gonna be able to see much of me painting on this because
so
it's freaking huge.
Fusion comes off the back of the gun and goes there, and then you can just plug this in here.
And then once you've read over your stuff and you check, check see if you need to buy any new models because you may have gotten new models in your faction.
Yep, you may need to.
Especially if like something has been nerfed or something's just been changed or whatever. Make sure you check over and see what, you need to get if you need to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And then after that, grab your buddy, test out a game. Take it slow.
Read, like if you haven't played in a while, peruse the rules again. Go through a couple of things, make sure you're doing it. But honestly, getting in and playing a small game is the best way to go. You don't want to, you could play a full game as long as you and your opponent are willing to take it slow. If you've got other people who are into the game, let them play a little, watch machine of your game and see what's going on.
Huh.
They can, when Marshall and everyone was learning to replay a little bit of Malifaux, we were there sitting there. Dave and I were sitting there, throw in an idea like, no, it doesn't work. That works like this, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to make a mistake. Yeah. It's not like you're playing for $10,000. If you make a mistake, just own up to it and go, well, shit, I thought it did this. And if it doesn't, just move on.
What paint are you using?
This is actually primer. Stynylrez.
White primer. Stynylrez, okay.
Yeah, just Stynylrez primer. Being that this is spray painted gold, it sucks to paint on spray paint.
Yeah, you're going to need multiple coats. You want something. Primer's a better idea because it'll go over it better.
Yeah, it's just white primer. It's just the white Stynylrez primer.
Yeah, Iron Shepherd says that he recently discovered Iron Painter has changed his life. Iron Painter has solid paints. Really? I mean, if that changed your life, wait till you see like freaking some of the big dogs in there. But they have very good, consistent paints. That's what I like best with Iron Painter is it's very consistent.
Yes. Like
Vallejo makes a ton of paints, but they're not super consistent. They have all sorts of wateriness and all. It's a pain in the ass. You gotta learn them. But Iron Painter is super consistent. I think Iron Painter is pretty equal with Citadel overall paint. It's just dropper bottles far superior. Sorry, but true. But yeah, when you're getting back in, you gotta jump in at some point. You read a bunch of stuff, try and get in. If there's a podcast, maybe catch up on a podcast. If it's a podcast that answers questions, throw them a question like, "Hey, I'm getting back in. What can you do to help?" Because it'll be different from game, and getting like specific ideas from the people who play the game would be good. And also, it's a great topic for a podcast. See what we're doing now.
What?
I know, right? But yeah, other than that, it's just gonna take some time, depending on how far the game has progressed. Like if I were to get into 40K again, it's new rules, but probably not that changed. It's 40K. It's pretty similar. New codex for the army I'm playing, but maybe not super changed. Probably reasonably significant though. It's unlikely to be using the same stuff. Or if I was to get into War Machine, I didn't play a lot of Mark III, so I'd have to relearn what is what for that.
Which you'd have to relearn anyway, because Mark IV is right around the corner.
Yeah, I would not. I would just wait.
Yeah. And that's something else. If you really think about it, you've been out of War Machine forever, and if you're wanting to get back in, and we're only 3 months away from Mark IV, should you wait?
You should. Because you don't want to relearn rules and then have to relearn rules again.
Correct.
It happens a lot. There's a lot of work thing. I have a client who's changing one of their systems. So if someone comes in, I don't want to teach them that system to just have to teach them another system.
Correct.
Unless you have to. In which case, then you just do it because you have to.
But I mean, that's something that you should. That's a reason why you check to see what's going on. What's happening. What's, did an addition change? Especially if you're going to be buying new models.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, should I be buying the new models? Well, no, because...
No, you shouldn't. You should research the game. You should be totally through research and hopefully even playing a test game before you buy new models for the game.
Yes.
because you want to make sure you know what you're doing and you're not just throwing money away. Unless you can afford to throw money away, in which case your local store is happy for you and will happily take your money. But you should probably do some testing and making sure you know what's going down before you start buying a bunch of new models. I mean, luckily, only a handful of games changed right around COVID. Um, Actually, I guess not really a handful. I guess a fair half of the games changed thinking about it because technically Infinity changed around that time. That's when their Kickstarter N4 hit, which I haven't even purchased. I'm
Oh,
so far from playing Infinity now, it's not even funny. I think 40K had dropped before that, maybe shortly before that, and it's in full swing now. But GW's, they're you with GW in particular, you're gonna want to get with a local and find out what you should be looking at because you may or may not need to buy one or two old yearly update books depending on the game. But that's like the key, getting the guys who know what's going on, the guys who are in it, is the best bet because they can tell you, no, you don't need that. This is fine, or hey, yeah, you need that because this and this changed, and you want the print copy to be sure or to have a record of it.
yeah, because I mean, nothing would annoy me more than anything to told to buy this book and then the book is not good as soon as you get ready to play.
Yeah, or not told to get the book, but like choose to buy the book, and they're like, oh, it's worthless. Like, it's my dumb fault, but I'm angry about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should definitely be your start. Did you paint the gems on one side but not the other?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Just asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's. I mean, it's on conceptually, it is not hard to get back into a game. In reality, it is. The other thing you want to do, and this is a purely human problem, not mechanical for the game, is you need to take your expectations of what the game is going to be and throw them out the fucking window.
100%.
Because they say you can't go back. It's fucking true. You cannot go back. Even if the rules haven't changed, it will not be the same because you have changed as well. So you want to expect, like, if I go back to play 40K, I don't expect it to be what I've done in the past. I expect it to be, new. You got to try and make it be a new, uh, it'll be more of a new experience. And you got to get used to that experience. Maybe the meta has changed. The meta always changes. And you just got to be aware of that. And it's human nature to want to go back. You want it to be like it was. Like, yes, I wanted to be like when, me and Marshall and the guys were playing fucking Warhammer Fantasy all the time and it was super fun, or 40K all the time, it was fun. But I don't ever expect it to go back to that because it can't.
Nope. I remember cool games in Necromunda. I have
Uh,
not gotten that back since.
Um, New Necromunda is apparently solid and fine.
Yeah.
You could play cool games with it, but it's not going to be what you had before.
No, 100% not.
Yeah, like, uh, part of the reason I don't want to go back to Origin Hordes is because it's not going to be what I had before. Like, the group has splintered. Not everyone's around. Times have changed. Why should Legion makes a good point. It may be a reason not to go back to game because it will not meet your expectations. Archer says,
True.
how does that saying go? Happiness is hard to come by because the past seems better than it was, the present worse than it is, and the future is less certain than you realize. That is all true. You know, Sometimes you got to stop, take a look at what you got, and go, you know what? This is okay for all your bitching. Because the past, I mean, luckily you mostly remember the good times. The bad times, unless they're horrifically bad, just go away, which is awesome for your memory, but doesn't help for you to make any choices. That is why it's so hard for people to learn from history. Because at a certain point, they don't remember the bad parts; they remember the good parts. People don't remember the 50s. I remember the World War II so much. I remember the 50s. So it was all good in the 50s. We were all, blah blah blah. But yeah, it got there because of fucking bullshit, dude. So keep that in mind. Knowledge of yourself and managing one's own expectations is important, but you don't want to overdo it to the point where you're not excited for things. Like, I'll be honest, as you said in the preamble, I went to an Elton John concert last weekend, and I actually wasn't really excited, maybe until he started playing, because, maybe mindfully I like a lot of cool things don't end up super cool, and you don't want to expect it to be the best thing ever, and then it's less, and then even if it wasn't bad, you start going, "Oh, that was terrible." So you gotta manage it. Maybe not to the same extreme I do, but you have to manage it. Like there's a million games I've played in the past, and I have to realize it's never going to be like that it was before.
Nope.
Role playing games as well, friends. Even role playing games. Even
Oh
if you get
yeah.
the same group together, it's not going to be what it was. We've all changed. That's why, even though we have a lot of games that end, and I'd like to go back to them, in some ways I realize most campaigns you can't go back to because it won't be the same. So it's better to just call that one done and start a new one. But any other part of this you want to cover, Gonzo?
No, that was pretty much about it. I mean, it's just, also when you're playing and, give yourself a break. Give your opponent a break, or give your friend a break, I should say, if they're just coming back to the game, and help them learn it, especially if you've stayed in it. Cut them some slack going, "Hey dude, that doesn't work like that anymore. That works like this." Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And if someone's coming back in, you're playing against them, give them. I don't want to say treat them like a newbie, but you kind of got to treat them like a newbie. You got to remind them if they're operating from a false pretense. Talk about it. Your first couple of games, it's okay. I mean, this isn't life or death. You're playing a game.
Yeah.
It's okay to give them tips and be like, I feel like you're trying to do this, but it doesn't work like that because of this. Because you don't want them to get there and suddenly realize, oh shit, I was operating under a false pretense. Because that's the worst. Straight the worst.
Yeah. You want to be cool with the person. Cut them some slack. I mean, but if you told them 7 times it doesn't work like that.
Well, I think nowadays most people will decide how much slack they wish to be cut.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of people I play with, like, nope, nope, I made the mistake. I want to live with it. Let's go.
Correct. I'm just talking about if you've told the rule to this person 7 times and they're still getting it wrong.
Are you talking about someone getting the same rule wrong multiple times, maybe during a tournament? The ones that you think it might be on purpose? Because that seems like a segue to our next topic.
Cheating.
And we don't mean getting the rule wrong. We mean cheating. And if you're wondering what the difference between a mistake and cheating is, one requires intent.
Correct. Because, I mean, don't get us wrong. You can, and I can say, accidentally cheat because you misunderstood, but
That's
it's
making a
not
mistake.
cheating. It's
Yeah,
making
it's
a
not.
mistake.
Yes.
Correct. Is what
But
we need
doing
to
it
do.
repeatedly, that, even if you try to obfuscate it, that becomes cheating.
Yeah, that's when we're like, dude, we've told you 7 or 8 times. Judge has told you 7 or 8 times.
And
You're
it's
cheating.
it's hard to deal with because we're all here, and most of the time that matters is when you're playing a game with strangers. It matters less with
Okay.
friends. When you're playing with friends, it doesn't matter as much. It matters more when you're playing with strangers.
Correct.
Dice ethic is good.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
talk about dice ethic real quick, because this is important, because there is actually some videos on YouTube that I saw of how to cheat at 40K with your dice.
First off, you should
Fuck.
report that and downvote it and find that fucker so we can whoop their ass.
I was looking at
At
stuff and
that
I
point,
saw
it's
that,
premeditated and intentional and going after this stuff. Like, no, fuck that guy.
which kind of right up there. I saw this video of this fisherman that put lead weights in his fish. Did you see that video?
Yeah, it's video too.
Yeah, I'm
Fucking.
like,
So, and dice ethic's important, and it may not come up initially, but you should know it. Like, I mean, I have crazy eyes. You can tell my depth perception isn't great. Sometimes I will misread dice at range because it's just pips usually. I'll see three. There's actually four. Or, I see three. It's two. What one way or the other. A lot of those you can misread.
Correct.
So if someone asks you a question about that, don't. This goes back to something I said a while ago, but stolen from a TV show. Don't judge. Be curious. Why are they asking so much about my dice? Are my dice unreadable? Sometimes they are. I had a game at a GT years and years ago. It would be before I worked for Games Workshop, so probably in the 90s, late 90s. And my regular dice was not working, so I put away. Said I'm gonna roll these dice. They're tiny. I apologize, but these dice are shit. So I put them out in front of him and said, "Can you read all these dice?" He said, "Those three, get rid of them. I can't read them." So I took those dice out and I rolled the rest of them for the rest of the game. It was fine. So Iron Trooper says, "I'm going off on people using a dice tray. Reroll falls out if it's low, keeps if it's high." Nope. Dice tray equals in is good, out is bad.
And
That
see,
is an
that's
rule of dice trays. If you're using a dice tray, you fucking keep them in the dice tray. If they go out, they're out.
yeah. I always say anytime I set up and I put a dice tray down, I says I re-roll anything that falls out of the dice tray, no matter what it comes up as.
You shouldn't even have to. Like that is literally the epitome of an unwritten rule.
Correct, but I just make sure that I say that because I don't want any other, you know,
Some people will say
misjudgment.
stuff as much as like, "Oh, if dice land on top of each other, I re-roll the top one." Okay, sure. I don't even care about that as long as you're consistent.
Correct. Be consistent, especially if you say that too.
You could say any die that faces north and its point, I re-roll because I'm superstitious. I'm like, as long as you're fucking consistent, I actually really don't care that much.
Yeah.
That'd be silly, but all right,
It's your
Trevor,
dice.
get your dice. You know what? It is what. If you're consistent, I don't fucking care. Just tell me which way's north. Have it marked so I can tell quickly, and just do it. I don't really give a shit.
But
And don't fucking dig on people for having dice, fucking rituals they go through. Like
superstitions.
I used to play. I would just roll a new set of dice for everything. Roll the set, boom, put it aside. Roll the next set, boom, go through. Then when I get done, I go back from the dice I've used and start using them again. And in one rant, one of the guys called us out for my dice superstition. And I'm like, dude, go fuck yourself. I roll the dice how I want to. You can fuck off.
If you're not, if it's not a cheat, or you're not seeing like, you know, a weird consistency, like when he rolls these dice only roll sixes. Who cares?
Okay. You want story time?
Go for
I'm
it.
a story time. Me and L. Marshall, we're playing a gentleman at our old local store way, way back in the day who goes by the nickname of Ponytail. You can know why he's got the nickname of Ponytail.
He was bald.
He's got a ponytail.
Oh, I thought it was like a curly joke.
Marshall was playing him and realized he had accidentally rolled his D3s instead of his D6s. And he was none the wiser. Now, he had done this when using Wraithguard, who back in the day killed on a 1 to 3 and didn't on a 4 to 6. So suddenly, it became a funny game of rolling averaging dice 2 to 5 because there were no modifiers, so you hit on a 2, so you always hit. And then roll the D3s mixed in to see if you kill people. I swear to God, 3 people did that to him in a row and he didn't notice at all, and I had to get them to stop. Like, stop, guys, no more. But it was fucking funny because he's not like going like, fucking A, you're not rolling ones, but he's like, oh shit, you're rolling lots of 1s through 3s to kill me and 2 through 5s to hit. It didn't really recognize because it looked like average dice. He never even saw 6. So there are tricks you can do for that. Don't do it. It's good for a funny one-off. Don't do it too often. Like, if you're trying to teach a guy a lesson, maybe, but other than that, no. But yeah, but there are things you need to watch out for. If someone makes a dice tower and just tips it over to roll, don't let them get away with that because you can set all your dice so 6s are facing you, more 6s will roll. I've seen it. I had someone doing that in Shadowrun, had to stop his ass real quick. But just keep an eye on that. We like to do what I think Fat Bad Agent actually had John Damaris had actually mentioned it first. Until I notice something, I'm cool. But when I know something, that person has my full attention and that everything. And when you catch someone doing that, you have to call them. And if you think it's intentional, here's the hardest part about cheaters, since we're rolling back into the full cheating aspect. You have to go with your gut feeling. If you think it's intentionally or is just blatantly breaking the rules, you've got to call the judge. There's no choice.
That is the first thing you should do before anything else. Don't call your buddy. Don't call your neighbor. Don't do anything. Call a judge.
If you decide it is not like you're going to forgive it, like, oh, you just made a mistake. If you don't think it's a mistake, if you think they are cheating, you have to 100% call the judge. And don't, as soon as you think it's cheating, turn off the nice guy. Don't be a nice guy anymore. I know that's tough. We're all trying to be nice. This person is not worthy of that anymore. As soon as you have decided in your soul that this person is cheating, not making a mistake, nice guy's got to turn off. So if the judge goes, what do you want me to do? Like, often I go, that's an auto loss, sir. He cheated. If the judge doesn't have a ruling and asks for your input, you should be auto loss. Unless you think it's super duper intentional, then you should be like DQ. He should make that decision, but sometimes judges are a little passive sometimes. They want to know what will make you happy because they don't want to cause an incident. You know, because if they're at the store or they work for the store, this might cause the person not to come back. You don't care about that. You don't want this person to come back if he's cheating. He needs to learn a lesson. And you absolutely positively have to go at least match loss. You know, that'll teach someone real fucking quick. If they realize they get caught cheating, they're going to lose the game. They're going to stop because they're no longer serving their purpose. These guys, a lot of them aren't malicious. They aren't cheating because they fucking hate you. They're cheating because they wish to win too much. Winning is more important than playing a fair game. So you need to teach them that the risk reward is too high. And if it's consistent, if it's a consistent person who does it lots of times, you have to ask for a DQ. You've got to step up and do it. I know it sucks because you're all trying to have fun here. Maybe he came with somebody. Maybe it's going to affect a larger tournament. You don't fucking care. You have to ask for what the appropriate penalty is going to be if the judge isn't suggesting it. The judge goes, well, what can I do? You're going to have to DQ him. Or you're going to have to give him a match loss. You know, I told Gonzo about one beforehand where a guy, right before time was done in his turn, he just threw a bunch of focus out, cast a bunch of spells, and was trying to resolve them as he, after his clock.
Nope.
I was nice, said no. Only the first one went off. Fuck you. But I shouldn't have been. I should have called the judge over, and I should have made him take a match loss. Because if he's doing that now, what else has he done? What other cheating has he done when you weren't paying full attention? And it's harsh, and it's tough, and someone's going to call you out on it. Fuck those people. If you came alone, just internalize it. It'll be okay. Yell on the way home. If you came with buddies, your buddies will have your back. If these people try to get too snarky or bullshit, your buddies will have your back, and it'll be okay. It's fucking tough. If you're on the outside looking in and so they start browbeating someone who calls them for cheating, fucking go defend that person. I'm going to paraphrase fucking Winston Churchill. All it takes for evil to triumph is for good to do nothing.
Yep.
Fucking do good. Just stand up. You'll stand up. Someone else will realize, oh, we're standing up, and they're going to stand up too. Be the pebble that starts the avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is I want people to understand that you need to call a judge there to make a ruling. Don't do it yourself.
Nope. Say,
judge, because that's the judge's job, XYZ. And then the judge will have to make a decision whether this is something that's a DQ or a warning or what. And it doesn't have to be cheating. It could be negative play experience. Flipping the clock over on purpose on the inappropriate time. picking up dice too quickly so you can't see the results, etc., etc.
Dice pick up too quickly. They're all ones or whatever he doesn't want them to be. That's what it was. Sorry. You have to call. Like, you don't want to be that guy, but you got to be that guy. And in the dice case, it could have been an honest mistake. People do math super quick. They might have done math faster and not confirmed you can see it. Call the judge. Judge, you picked up his dice too quick. I don't know what he rolled. Judge will make a decision. Usually in that case, it's probably just a warning and then re-roll. That's fine. But you have to initiate. You can't be passive in it. As soon as you start being passive, you're just going to let them do whatever they want. And the longer you go on like that, the less power you have to do something about it later. So do it right away. Get it going. Like I said, be the pebble that starts the avalanche. You got to. And if you think it's absolutely intentional cheating, don't let the judge wishy-washy his way out of it. Sometimes there's other things at play. Like, honestly, if I'm acting in a capacity as a store employee, I don't want any drama. Yeah, Legion says, if I pick up dice quick, they're failures. Absolutely. Unless it's one means something negative. Absolutely. Well, I'll do that a lot. I'm going to pick up failures. But that's part of the dice thing. If you explain it, like a 40K or a many dice game, like, I'm going to pick up failures.
Yeah,
if I've got ones, yeah. We'll categorize them if we need to, but I'm going to pick up failures, leave the hits. That way you can go like, there's a failure there, there's a failure there. That gives your opponent time to check your dice.
Yeah. And if you pick up dice quickly and your opponent's like, hey, you're picking that up too quickly, slow down.
Apologize.
Apologize. Like, oh, sorry.
I'm picking up failures, so these don't affect anything. Maybe if you get a plasma gun, like, there were no ones in there, but I'm happy to rebeat. You can be magnanimous about it. Like, I'm happy to re-roll all these dice and take saves for any ones. It's a game. A game. You can't get so focused by the outcome that you lose the joy of fucking playing.
I mean, we want to win, but we want to have a good time. And I would rather lose and keep a friend or make a new friend than win and have an issue.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. We all make mistakes when we play. Just own up to them and fix them. I know this is like really enthralling watching me put.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am getting suggestions for other topics as well while we're doing this, sir.
Oh, sweet. Nice. What suggestions?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But yeah, so you've got to be there. You've got to be firm. It honestly is going to be one of the toughest things you do in gaming. Because we all just want to get along. Every gamer in that fucking tournament is a potential best buddy in 2 years.
And I'll tell you right now, in some games, people play for money, and you get caught cheating, some of those people will take you out back and beat you.
Let me give you my first advice. Don't play for money.
Yeah, don't ever. But some games
if you play for money, you better be ready because it's going to get ugly. It brings out the worst in people.
Correct.
If you can play for money and not bring out the worst, then you've got a great crew. Fucking cherish those people. But I don't play for money. I don't play for that, As a former game store owner, I can tell you that Magic was fine until they wanted cash prizes. At which point, we had to be very careful about stuff, This is before DCI was doing judges like they do. I'm old. This just in. So a lot of times, like, there are times I'm like, look, you're stalling, stop stalling. You're not going to outlast the store owner. Me, I will keep this store open until fucking I have to open again in the morning on Saturday. I don't fucking care. So, keep that in mind. It gets a little ugly when money starts. Now you might have, like, the Magic players we had at my store were pretty good. There's only a couple people, and usually it's a new person. Because you don't know that person. Usually it's the new person causing some hiccups. That's why when it came down to Magic or the Star Wars TCG, we always played the Star Wars TCG because there were no money involved. The prize is always packs provided by the company. And let's be honest, I don't need more packs, but I'm playing for the fun of it. The packs are a bonus. Often I'd find the newest kid in the tournament and be like, have some packs.
Here you go, dude.
Yeah, so remember that. You've got to call the judge. So I'll give you another story. Bowie, who's not in the chat room right now, was playing the Star Trek TCG against a guy, and the guy was playing Borg, and he went to assimilate a planet, which means you're going to flip a certain card. I saw him shuffle his deck, and he shuffles and shuffles, and then suddenly he shuffles, and he does this, and then backs it up and does this.
So he set up his deck.
At which point I knew something was going on. I'm like, Judge, he's stacking his deck. And I explained it. Now, I'm not playing, so my power's limited. I'm not judging, my power's limited. The judge decided to watch and didn't do anything that match, but did end up doing something, if I remember correctly, in a later match because he was consistently doing that. So keep an eye on stuff. You can do it with cards, you can do it with whatever. Remember, with cards, always cut the deck.
Yeah, always let your opponent cut the deck.
If you don't offer to cut the deck, stop them. Say, I'd like to cut your deck. It's not personal. If they take it personally, it means they were probably cheating. So that's because, and I'll say cards because sometimes you're playing a card game or Malifaux uses cards. I could easily, when you're riffle shutting the deck, you can see a good card, throw it on top, and if, we have a lot that get lazy a lot of times, you just knock the deck like, I don't care. In friendly play, no worries. In a tournament, cut the damn deck. And don't be an ass about it. Don't be Devil Squid. And I love Devil Squid. He's a great dude, but he did once. They were playing some game using cards. I think it was actually Relic Knights. And literally he cut the deck, he grabbed it, and he kind of fired a couple cards out. And really, dude? And then he did it again, and he actually fired the entire half of the deck out. Dude, the fuck? Don't be an ass. I played a million Magic players. They will they'll cut the deck and put it in 17 piles all over the place. And I'm like, really, fucker? This is how we're gonna be? Okay. Because I'll be honest, I'm old nowadays. I don't fucking care anymore. If you do that shit when I'm running a tournament, your ass is just gonna be disqualified immediately for poor sportsmanship. A lot of things you can get away with friendly, you can't get away with there. And most of these cheating things are only in tournament settings. If a friend is cheating, you need to call him on it immediately because it's likely just a fucking mistake. Maybe they misread a die. Maybe they, there's a million mistakes can happen. I'd hate to say it. We're all getting kind of old, and sometimes the memory doesn't necessarily work as quick as we want it to be.
And the eyesight.
Oh, really, Legion? Devil Squid was getting dismissive of other folks' opinions on Mark IV. He knows better. He's a fucking PG. He knows better.
But yucking on people's yum.
Yep, don't yuck on people's yum. I don't. The reason I don't participate in those, I'm somehow still in those Facebook groups, but I can. Speak for yourself. Where am I again? Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you want your game to continue, you got to start bringing in these other people. And if you see people cheating, younger people are going to go, that guy just cheated, and they're not doing anything against that.
Yep, you're going to negative game experience. That's the thing you realize. It's a negative play experience to not do anything.
Correct.
I don't know how many of you all in the chat or listening on podcast land.
For Coolio. That's who we forgot.
Coolio fucking passed away. Hey, Marshall, thank you.
Thanks, Marshall, for Coolio.
Hydrate real quick. That's me hail hydrating. For Coolio.
No, that is for Coolio. I already did it for Coolio. Thanks, El Marshall. I knew we had something. I just totally life.
I should have remembered that because I was driving to my dinner and there was a shitty cover of Gangster's Paradise on. I turned off.
Is it shitty that one that you sent me of?
No, no, it's not that. It's not as glorious as the cover of Sweet Caroline I sent you, which I think Legion has seen too because I posted it in that particular Discord. But yeah, so I mean, where were we? See, getting old. Forget what the fuck we were talking about besides cheaters. And you got to deal with them. You got to deal with them harshly. If they're adults, they'll understand. If it's a mistake, it'll come out while they're talking about it. But You can usually feel in your gut if it's a mistake or if it's an actual legitimate issue. If it's a mistake they've made multiple times, it's not a mistake.
Correct. If they've been called out on it 3 or 4 times in multiple different games, this is not a mistake.
Hey, at that point, it ain't a mistake.
Yeah. And you got to nip it in the bud. Nobody likes cheaters. Nobody likes negative plays experience. Nobody likes people gatekeeping other people or, whatever to stop new people coming in. Because I tell you, that's the worst thing you can do for your game is not let new people into play.
Asterisks, because of the paradox of tolerance. Do not let the intolerant in. It's okay to gatekeep them. I know it's paradoxical, but you've got to. Because fuck those people. Nazis and all, fuck off. There's a bunch of that going on Twitter. Do not get involved in it. Jesus Christ, trust me.
That should go without saying, in my opinion, but yes.
Yeah. Just remember, if you let yourself in on the drama, if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound on the drama. So just ignore it and go. So yeah, Leech, I've screwed up and been like, I think I fucked up those dice. And I try and like cheat myself later in the game. Like I fucked up that one dice, so I'll fuck it up the other way now. You judge Devil Squid, that's fair. We know Devil Squid, we can judge him.
You could have done something and called the judge and says, "Hey, judge, I messed up this. How do I fix it?"
At that point, you're just inviting drama. Don't just be better about it. If you can hurt yourself in a better way to try to make up for it, depending on what it did, because sometimes it didn't mean anything.
Correct.
Like, oh, I get an extra hit, he saved it. Oh, good, I don't feel bad. But sometimes you're like, oh, I got an extra hit, he didn't save it. I'm going to take a hit off a later attack. I mean, you do what you can.
And also, cut yourself some slack if you make a mistake.
Yeah.
If you make a
mistake. Because
usually
we don't realize until like turns later, like, oh, fuck, I did this thing again.
And then just do better.
Yeah, do better.
Don't worry about it. You got to worry about it.
Remember, none of us are in fighting trim. None of us are playing games like we used to in the past.
Where we would get 7 or 8 games in a day.
I don't know about that, but like you'd get a bunch in a week,
Yeah.
We're not at the point where we're like going to the game store almost every night of the week and playing games. We're not there anymore. That's gone. COVID fucking just took that outside, tied it to a tree, and got the shotgun.
Yeah, it goes back when, since Warfare Weekend is coming up, I know people are like, oh man, I'm going to play, like, I want to play this tournament and I want to do 6 rounds in one day. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. By round 3, you're going to be dead. And I'm like, your body is not used to it.
Nope. And I'll fucking suck it up through most of those things because, I want people to have fun. But
yeah, your body is physically not able to do the games that you used to do.
Shit, sometimes my body ain't ready for 2 games in Marshall's basement, for fuck's sake. Someone else play a game. I'm going to sit here and chill and watch.
I'm going to sit on the stool and chill. But
exactly.
The main thing is if you're at a tournament, call a judge immediately. Yep. Don't try to solve it yourself. Don't try to get any issues with it. Call a judge. If it's, you're just meeting, you met up with somebody at the game store and they wanted to get a game and you get a game and you don't have anybody to call, you can just walk away. You're like, nah, I'm done.
Clip Miles, like, you're cheating. I'm done. Walk away. That'll teach him quick. There was a guy, and I'll tell the one final story before media section, who played and cheated all the time. Like, we knew he cheated. He came up to me on one slow Saturday at the Games Workshop out of Parker and said, hey, John, do you want to play? And I said, I would not play you for the last 40K player left on Earth. That's a hell of a statement, right? So he asked, why? So I gave him a 5-minute long, level-toned, entirely curseless rant about his playing and how we all knew. And
that should have been hard for you not to curse.
I was younger then.
Less crotchety.
And he took that shit to heart, and he became like the guy who never cheated. Like, literally, I saw him playing games. I'd walk by, watch for a bit, and he was playing completely on the level.
It's good.
So, I mean, sometimes calling that guy is what they need. They might be thinking, because people's brains are weird. They'll be thinking, I've got to win or people aren't going to like me. People are strange. They take all sorts of fucking weird reactions from all sorts of things. That's why you don't judge, be curious. Call them out on it. Maybe they'll make the change. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But if you give them the chance they make the change, you've got one more good player out there in the world.
Yeah, I mean, because like I says, if you called them out and they disappear for a bit and they come back and they're still cheating, fuck them.
Yep.
But if they come back and they've changed their ways and everything, good, man. Congratulations. Welcome back. Let's have a good time. Let's play some good games.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, then you've got a good player back in the world. You have made the world better just by calling someone on cheating.
Yeah.
Rather than just going, nah, man, I don't want to play you right now. And then touch tones. That guy's a cheater. No, fucking call him on it. We can't be afraid anymore. We had too many decades of people not willing to talk about anything that could cause an argument and has gotten us where we are today in the fucking world. Religion, fucking politics, any of that. People are too afraid to talk about that shit because they don't want to cause a ruckus or any hard feelings or anything. No, fuck it. Get your shit off your chest. It only makes the world better. People don't realize they have views you may not like or are being fucking stupid. Or maybe you're being stupid and they're going to teach you that. A level and civil discourse is only fucking good. Because either you learn that you were wrong and you need to change, they learn that they were wrong and they need to change, or you learn that this fucker is fucking crazy and you never need to associate with him again.
Yeah.
All of those are good. They all end up fine. Don't deal with the fucker, or he changes, or you change. It's only good. Too many years. How many years do people tell you not to talk about fucking politics or religion at work? No, fuck it. Talk about them. As long as you do it civilly, I don't care. I will let anyone at work have a civil discussion about whatever the hell they want, as long as it's not, crass. As long as soon as it gets non-civil, I will shut that shit down immediately. They do not want to fuck with me. But as long as it's civil discourse, because I work with a formerly devout Christian and a devout Muslim, and I am agnostic. We have hella some conversations, but we all have inherent respect and keep it civil.
Correct.
And that makes it okay.
All right. Guys, when it comes down to it, we're here to play a game. If someone's not playing by the rules, call them out on it. Go to judge first if you're a tournament. If you're not a judge or not in a tournament, call them out on it.
Violence is not the answer. I know it may make you angry. We're all on edge. Violence is not the answer.
Yeah.
That being said, if they fuck around, you should become the embodiment of finding out. And with time for the positivity segment. We're talking about media, so we'll see.
We'll see if it's a positivity type thing. So I'm going to tell you that I did not watch a lot of movies this last week.
I didn't watch any movies. I haven't watched any movies in a while. I probably should.
Well, I mean, there hasn't been really any new movies come out.
It's like a 2-hour investment to watch a movie. I don't have 2 hours at one spot. I mean, I could make it. I've not made the effort to make, a 2-hour spot.
I mean, I
have
been
watched
watching
TV episodes.
What's interesting is a lot of shows are technically off the air. Some are coming back, but there's not a lot coming back that I watch.
We'll get there, Marshall. I want to start with something. It's Disney related.
Yeah.
Captain Izzy, Hocus Pocus 2. I want you to realize what age I was when Hocus Pocus came out. I have not seen Hocus Pocus. It was not aimed at me. Thus, I have not watched Hocus Pocus 2.
I haven't watched Hocus Pocus 2 yet because I was busy with some other stuff.
If you want third party, my sister was not a fan of it. But my sister abhors things made mostly for nostalgia.
Correct.
Which is a perfectly viable view for someone to have. No, Marshall, I have not seen Bullet Train yet. I wish to. It's on my list, but sorry. So unfinished Book of Boba Fett. You should probably skip that and go to Andor.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's do one that you're not watching. I'll do one that you're not watching.
Sounds like a challenge, but okay.
Game of Thrones.
Yep, not watching that shit.
Yep.
I could, but I don't have a horse in that race.
House of Dragons. This week was, I should say last week, because this week has already started. The new episode's out. They did like a 10-year jump.
Okay.
And so two of the lead female actresses are no longer in the series, and they've put two new actresses in there. And it's not getting very good positive reviews on it.
I have not heard things, but
it really just hasn't hit with a lot of people this episode. And supposedly one of the producers or directors said that, well, we're not going to worry about her story anymore because this isn't about her anymore. And I'm like, but she was like one of the main cast members.
Yeah, if you start a story, you fucking finish it.
Yeah. So supposedly, like one of the main characters is getting cut out from the series, and I'm like, what? So
let's be honest, I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, but the ending has me worried. It's a large time investment, and I can just watch clips of my favorite character on YouTube.
Legionnaires ask, is House of Dragons still doing the murder porn of Game of Thrones? Not as bad. There are some, but it is not as bad.
Yeah.
They still hit. It's still Game of Thrones, but it's not as bad. So for right now, it's not a bad show, but it's not awesome.
It's okay.
It's just okay. I mean, I give it, a 2, which means it's watchable, but, some of it's like, okay. I think the 10-year time jump is going to be an issue, and it's going to be a problem.
Good luck.
Good
luck, Legion.
Yeah, he's not going to finish those. And this is actually, 1,000 years or 100 years or whatever before the regular books. But still.
That always bothers me in fantasy series. We're 1,000 years in the past. Do you know what happened in 1,000 years in the real world?
Yeah.
Why is your place not advancing in 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Like Middle Earth, we're looking at 5,000 years ago. The fuck have you all been slacking off in 5,000 years? You can't have shit happen. You're from medievalish era. You haven't gotten to fucking the Industrial Revolution, though technically they do in one of the books, but that's not here.
Yeah. So, but I mean, overall, it's not a bad series. If you like Game of Thrones, you'll like this. But it's not near as good as the first, when Game of Thrones started.
Is Matt Ward still carrying the series on his back?
Pretty much.
Okay. Matt Smith? Matt Ward? What's his name?
It's Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, sorry.
Yeah, I knew you meant. Yeah, pretty much.
Is Doctor Who still carrying the fucking series on his back? How about that?
Pretty much. It's okay. So, like I said, I give it like 2 space herpes. Not too bad, but it's just okay.
I should warn you, in the past 2 weeks, I've watched like 9 TV episodes.
Man.
Obviously, I've watched Andor. We can talk about that. I watched She-Hulk. And I've also, and I'll start this off now, started watching something else for a meal, something that's always a half an hour and easy to watch that I've had on DVD for a while and haven't opened it up. And that is an anime called Trigun. And
oh
yes,
my gosh!
And yes, I've seen it before.
Trigun.
I love Trigun. It is pretty standard Japanese animation. It goes from silly to serious all in the same episode. Generally, at this point, still more in the silly. But I know from previous experience that it does occasionally get very fucking serious.
Suppose they're doing a live action of it pretty soon.
I mean, Western aesthetic should be cool.
Would be a hard one to do.
I should need to watch the live action of Cowboy Bebop. That apparently was absolutely fine, but people lost their shit because people are fucking stupid and I hate people. But yeah, I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I'm about 5 episodes in. I remember all the episodes, which is kind of scary. I all thought they took place later, but I did watch the first 4 episodes many times at the beginning because I got a preview, story time a little bit. When I worked for Alliance Game Distribution, occasionally the sales manager would give me preview copies of anime and say, "I want to hear what you think about this anime, so I can sell it to my customers." So he'd hand me preview copies. I watched preview copies. One of them was Trigun. So I saw like whatever was on the first tape or so. So like 3, 4 episodes. So I remember those pretty well. I do love Trigun. I'm not going to spoil any of it because it all gets explained quickly, but still. It has a sort of Western. It's basically Western. There are some sci-fi elements, but they don't come in till later. It's basically a Western. As long as you're good with standard anime stuff, like the main character being occasionally absolutely fucking silly and other times super serious, you're fine. It doesn't give me any of that cringe factor, if you will. More on that later. But I enjoy the crap of it. It's currently solidly half a space herpy. There's a little extra silly at points, and some people aren't down with that, so they'd like it less, but it's good. They've already had some good points in it. And it's a half an hour long episodes. They're TV episodes, so it's great for like when you're eating a meal. No extra time, just boom, watch an episode, done, go. Gonzo?
I think my next ones are pretty much everything that you've. Oh wait, the Great British Baking Show is back, and it's on Netflix, and we get a new episode every Friday. And I just love baking shows. I love cooking shows, and that's just my thing. I'm a baker.
I do too, but I'm usually watching those on YouTube though.
Yeah.
Binging with Babish or whatever, sorted food, that kind of thing.
But I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I like seeing what people make, and then I'm like, "Oh, dude, you messed up," type thing.
Oh, you done fucked up, son.
Yeah. And so it's back on Netflix, a new season. I know they said the next season is possibly going to go not on Netflix, and we'll get a different cast or something like that. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. I like I like good baking shows, good cooking shows. I also like seeing like the different styles and the different flavors and different profiles people do all the time on stuff. So it's kind of neat. Like, ooh, I would not have thought of that food, or I've never heard of this. What is this? Google this new food. Type thing, or Google this new,
Oh, yeah, that's
dish.
The best part of cooking shows. Is like I am a font of knowledge. I know a lot about cooking. I just don't apply it because I don't cook for myself so much.
Yeah.
Oh, he says he's a baker, but I still have not received cheesecake in the last 2 years. What are you doing, Gonzo?
Baking it for myself.
Make your poor Captain Mizzy a cheesecake.
She's had one. That one's enough for her.
It hasn't had one in the last 2 years. What are you doing? Cheesecake.
Working.
That sounds like for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I've been working for the last 2 years.
He makes you sad. I see, Captain Mizzy. You are a saint for putting up with him.
But I like this. If you like good baking shows, I kind of ignore some of the stuff the hosts are saying, but I concentrate more on the bakers and the dishes because love the dishes. So other than that, all right, go for it, John. What do you got?
Captain Mizzy, if you were local, I would learn to cook cheesecakes for you because I'm a nice guy like that. What do I got? She-Hulk.
Yeah, we can do She-Hulk.
2 episodes I've seen. You might have talked about one of them last week, the wedding one, and then this one was the retreat.
Yep.
I enjoyed both. I enjoyed this one more. She-Hulk has a habit, as it is almost a sitcom, of walking right up to the edge of absolute stupidity, peering over, but then deciding, nah, I'm going to come back some.
Recently I've noticed they've done less fourth wall breaking in the last few episodes.
I don't know. I mean, they did a big one on this last one.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most, it's kind of like petered off a little bit.
They're getting into the story,
correct,
which I like, and you can see the twist coming.
Yeah,
but I think the wedding episode was okay. I feel like there should have been another episode between that and this. I feel like they're rushing at some points, which is weird because you have all the time in the fucking world.
Well, you could tell that they're doing the speed time, like
Yeah.
everything's like just no dialogue, but just quick messages and everything's going by real quick and real quick,
No,
and then
I don't
boom.
mind that at all.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, they're not taking their time in the series. I think they could have, but I really like this episode. It didn't walk up to the edge of stupidity. It actually was firmly far away from the edge and just a solid episode. Oh God, maybe Legion. If we have time at the end, we can talk about that.
yeah, maybe at the end,
Uh,
Legion.
so yeah, like the wedding episode was not bad, but it definitely walked up to the edge of stupidity. But they pulled it back.
Yeah.
But this last episode I thought was much better. Was very good. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
They need to bring Wong and Madison back at least one more time.
I don't think they need to. I think they should let. I mean, they had a million fucking little things in this one.
That was just such a
Aguilar,
great.
the Eagle showed up for fuck's sake, man. Like, I only know him because I've read the complete handbook of the Marvel Universe, and he was in there, and I'm like, this guy seems cool. I've never seen him in a comic. Manbull, fucking Manbull, and Porcupine. Porcupine only is noted because Porcupine got killed by Scourge when Scourge was killing all the fucking supervillains. Yikes. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy the little things they're showing in there. Don't believe the negative press.
No.
I told Gonzo Forans, another streamer that I know, said he watched the first episode and thought it was the absolute biggest shit he's ever seen. Which I said, you are a crusty white guy. You have a problem with women, even if you don't fucking know it. Is it your fault? Probably not. It's probably your upbringing. But that's why you have a problem. It's not bad writing. Actually, I find the writing is actually probably better than even the humor is in it. And the humor is occasionally funny. Mr. Immortal is funny. And for fuck's sake, internet sites out there, none of you are actually listening to this, but stop doing your fucking clickbait. They ruined this fucking team you're never going to see anymore. Since they had Mr. Immortal, you're never going to see the Great Lake Avengers. Motherfucker, we were never going to see the Great Lake Avengers. And it's okay, because they're fucking stupid.
Well,
they're funny in the comic, but for fuck's sake, it's not like the Wrecking Crew is not a beloved Marvel villain team, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake, no one cares about the Wrecking Crew. They're only cool when they get up-powered by that, and which they can still do. They probably won't. But there's only so much they can do with all they have. Come on, man.
The Wrecking Who.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's and all this stuff about, getting reviews from people nowadays. Yeah. Like, whatever.
Rotten Tomatoes. Stop caring about Rotten Tomatoes.
Correct.
It's not accurate. If anyone can review it, you're going to get a bunch of shit from fucking incels and shit who just don't like anything whereas a female main character. Yeah. Like, remember, they shit all over Captain Marvel. I actually feel like it's one of the better fucking origin movies out there.
There's been a lot of, this whole getting reviews, because now people are doing it trying to pump up certain movies that they want pumped up. And I go, that's the problem. You put the reviews in the hands of the people, and the people are going to create bots, create, whatever, to either go up or down.
It's no longer about it. Find people that you are aligned with mostly, get their opinion. Like, even, let's say, L. Marshall. L. Marshall and I talk opinions about stuff all the time. But our opinions are different on certain things. There's some things he likes. Some things I like. It's okay. At some point, you're going to have to decide if it seems like something you might like, just fucking watch it. Maybe you don't. It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to jokingly threaten to sue Marvel because of shitty writing. Thank you, streamer. I got stupider reading that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've had fun with She-Hulk. No issues with me on it.
I mean, is it the fucking best Marvel series? No.
So, I'm good with that one. You want to go with Andor? Since how far are you in on Andor?
I think it's cute you think I'm not caught up on Andor. It's really cute. Because it is that series that does what my sister doesn't do what my sister hates. It does not prey off of your nostalgia at all. It does not just name drop to get a name drop. It name dropped one thing, and it wasn't even a big deal.
Sorry, I was reading Legionnaire's comment.
I I've watched all of Andor. I enjoy Andor.
I do too.
Um, it somehow doesn't seem dark and depressing, though it could easily have fallen there.
I think it might
Very,
get there.
it's and it's very neutral, and I
Yeah.
think it needs to maintain that neutrality because you get too negative, people are just going to eject because fuck new negativity. No one wants negativity right now. The world's negative enough.
I have a feeling that we're going well, I'm sure we're gonna see some negative episodes or dark episodes
That
because that
does not mean negative. It can be
correct.
dark, but there can be. That's the thing about Star Wars. Even at its darkest, there was still hope in it, and that is the fucking theme of Star Wars when you distill it down.
Yeah.
Even at the darkest, there is still hope, and I feel like they're not going to lose that. I hope they don't lose that. I mean, it's the guys who did fucking Chernobyl, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing because Chernobyl didn't fucking crush you down in despair except for that one episode. But we don't talk about that episode anymore.
Yeah, I think I like it. I think it's a story that needs to be told. While
Yeah,
I love Jedi's and all that stuff,
Space
Star
Wizard.
Wars is more than just Jedi's.
The Skywalker saga being all about space Jedi, space wizards is fine. It's okay
Yeah.
because it's the Skywalker saga. They're all fucking space wizards except
Yeah.
for Shmi. Sorry, Shmi. It happened.
But there is more to the Star Wars universe than just Jedi's.
Needs to
And
be.
yeah,
And
we
I
need
mean,
to see the dirty part of the rebellion.
and honestly, Stellan Skarsgård is fucking killing it again. Like he
Oh
all.
yeah, yeah.
But like the cast, great. Like I haven't had a problem with the cast,
Nope.
the content. I even like the. I think I was going to. I like the story that's going on with the secondary story, the B story, if you will, with the corporate security. I mean, they told so much at the end of that third episode where, he's just staring and you can tell he's feeling the things and realizing, exactly what's happened to him, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil it because you guys haven't all seen it. So, enjoying the crap out of it. It is currently a 0.
Yep,
I could
I
see it
agree with
climb
that.
as high as a 1, but based on what it's seen so far, I don't expect it going too high. It's enjoyable as fuck.
Yeah. Supposedly the Legionnaire says he needs more Star Wars heists and mobsters. What's the one that Jude Law is supposed to be doing? That's kind
I don't
of
know. I mean, we'll see what they get. They're
yeah.
working on Star Wars stuff. They're starting to get their feel for it. The Rogue Squadron movie has been delayed
Yep.
quietly. Obviously, the trilogy that what's his name Ryan Johnson's supposed to get has been delayed. Who knows if he'll get that? I hope he does. I actually like Ryan Johnson a lot. I'm not as big of a problem with The Last Jedi as a lot of people do. They can. It's okay if you don't like it. You can go away. You don't have to watch Star Wars stuff. I want to see what he does. I like him as a director and all. But no, I'm looking forward to see what they do with more Star Wars stuff going forward.
Yeah. I'm happy with everything so far.
Mandalorian soon enough. Hopefully, if they do another Book of Boba Fett, they settle on a proper tone for it.
Yeah. It was a little over the place. Still,
Marvel wise news: the Armor Wars TV show is now an Armor Wars movie, which
correct.
means we get a Don Cheadle led Marvel movie. Fuck yes.
Which I thought was interesting. They decided to go from. I wonder if it was like a cost thing or something. Just kind
No,
of curious why they did it from a TV show to a movie.
I don't know. Don Cheadle, fucking A.
Yeah.
Probably because something's not working out. They need something to fill it. And like, well, we're working on this. Let's make it a movie instead. It's mainline enough. It could be a movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hope they just keep doing more. Like, so you kind of need to see Endgame to get the full gist of She-Hulk. Because I was talking about this with my sister. But you don't have to. You can go like, okay, Hulk obviously has control of his stuff. They explain that in there. Better seeing it in Endgame first. But because I said she would love She-Hulk, because she would, because it's not really derivative or anything. It's totally different. That's sort of like what makes Andor good. It's not derivative. It's not just playing on nostalgia. It's making its own good story.
Yeah. Which is what Rogue One really did.
Yeah.
That really pushed to be one of the top Star Wars movies of all times.
And honestly, I feel like the stuff that played off nostalgia were the weaker parts of the movie.
Yeah. I mean,
Unnecessary, completely.
It was cool
Like,
though, in my
sure.
opinion. It brought the kid out in me.
So the first scene with Darth Vader was not cool. It was the opposite of cool.
Which
It
one
was a
was that
scene that
one?
where he talks to him on Mustafar.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
Like,
gotcha.
okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Scene there, sure, it was cool. Completely unnecessary. Absolute fan service.
Correct.
I mean, they realize some people don't want that. Some people want just more story Star Wars. You didn't need to have a space Jedi show up at all in this movie.
No, you didn't.
You didn't. But I don't think the end scene hurt. I think the middle scene kind of hurt.
I could agree with that. I can agree with that more. I mean, the end scene was definitely fan service, and it made me giggle like a little kid. But I was like, that was cool as shit. Did it have to be in there? No.
No.
Was it cooler for me? Yeah, but not.
I'm sure it was always in there in every take. Be something I'd be interested to hear about it behind the scenes, but not important at all.
Yeah. So, what else you got?
I watched 4 episodes of Andor, 2 episodes of She-Hulk, and like 5 episodes of fucking Trigun. The fuck else you want from me? Plus, the Armor Wars change and all that. Oh, do we want to talk about Lizzo and the Saga of the Crystal Flute? I did not know that so many crusty old white guys cared about flautists so much. I was not aware.
What's interesting about this whole situation is, okay, they let Lizzo, which she knows how to play the flute, play this flute that nobody really knew about. Yeah. I didn't know that there was James Madison had a crystal flute.
Oh, I've learned a lot of things about James Madison I didn't know in the past week.
And I was like, whoa, a crystal flute? That's pretty fucking cool.
Because that sounds like an Indiana Jones plot.
Indiana I know.
Jones, crystal flute. It's a movie. Go.
Lizzie and the crystal flute.
It's just like, why do you fucking care? You don't. You are just so racist and sexist. You have to fucking comment on everything. And we will never be okay until those people are fucking in the dirt. And I hate to say it. I hope it comes of natural causes. I don't want a fucking civil war. But I mean, for fuck's sake.
You didn't care about this flute until she played it.
And it's
that's the whole thing.
He's still holding the founding fathers up like they were the fucking bastions of fucking morality. Spoiler, they fucking weren't. They were men, just like every other man. They had good, they had bad, and they tried to balance. They did some good. They were all slaveholders because it was the time. Mm-hmm. There are some stories with James Madison I won't repeat that are fucking horrific if they're true. It only would have been a problem about it if it hadn't been documented for us to watch later or put behind a paywall. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Much like not realizing the science behind the skin color of mermaids and that so many white men thought mermaids, I don't fuck off, guys.
And then you actually tell the true story of why he wrote The Little Mermaid, and then you're like, oh, and then you're like, do you want to talk about The Little Mermaid now? And they're like, what?
They don't care. They live in their own fucking world. That's the real problem. They live in their own world. Sorry, Marshall, we're not in the positive anymore. I blame the alcohol and Gonzo. Actually, I blame Legion more than anyone. But it's, look, it's okay. Like, I look at him like, oh, cool. And I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, I never even knew that there was a crystal flute. And, I stuck around after it was done. But I was like, oh, there's more instruments there that we should know about? Cool.
We're like, oh, you got a trained flautist who apparently can play a flute that's not set up like any modern flute in any way, shape, or form professionally. Cool. Sounds good. Good job, guys. Back to my life.
Yeah. Well, I guess like per the Library of Congress, they're supposed to be played every so often. And whenever they leave them to the Library of Congress, it is documented this must be in working played condition at all times. And I'm like, okay, who cares?
Yeah. Fucking hey. I was not aware that was there. I mean,
I'm sure if there was a white flutist that was, whatever, it would have been a whole different thing.
No, Marshall says Lizzo and the Crystal Flute is a better story than Indy and the Crystal Skull. I hate that you're right.
It was kind of fun to Legionnaires. It was it was kind of fun to watch Lizzo get kind of geek out over this flute. She's like, what? You could tell that there was excitement behind what she was doing, not just because she was doing
nothing better
it.
than a professional genuinely excited about what they do.
Yeah. Now, did she put her own little spin on it? Fuck yeah, because she doesn't give a fuck about anybody.
Yeah, who cares? That's what music is.
Yeah.
Music is putting your own spin on things.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, why are we having this discussion? This is stupid.
Oh, the fact that we have to is hilarious and terrible in equal measure.
Yeah. I did want to say something. Legionnaires did mention Reservation Dogs. I just finished the new season of that. I think the season finale was this week. I love this show. The actors they got in this, they're so fun to watch. The kids, because I'm sure all of them are like 25 or whatever, but they are so funny as shit when they work with each other, and you're like, yeah, I can see you doing stupid shit like this when I was a teenager. And I hope it gets renewed for another season. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it because it kind of ends where it could, but they leave it open. So if they get another season, cool. Not, dang, but I'm not too hurt.
All right. I got one more beef to pick with fucking Disney Plus.
Which one's that one?
Stop stacking fucking shows and shit.
As in, give me an example.
She-Hulk, Andor, coming up soon, Werewolf by Night. And I know you have the Werewolf by Night in fucking October, but now you're stacking enough things that people are going to start losing time to watch you. It's a dangerous fucking game you're playing. If people lose time to watch, they might go, oh fuck, I can't watch all this shit. I'm not using it. I'll fucking cancel it. Stop it. If you've got your fucking She-Hulk coming out, save fucking Andor.
Or put it right behind it, but not too. Don't put it in the middle of the season. Put it like near the end, 1 or 2 episodes to the end.
Maybe near the end, so you feel like, okay, they're just getting it out. But if you do too much, you're just gonna lose people. Yeah. People don't have unlimited time. They're split between multiple things. Don't make them make a choice that might include them canceling you. Yeah. No other fucking streaming service seems to have this fucking problem. Well, maybe Paramount Plus a little bit, but they mostly don't have this problem. Don't do this shit.
I also think that it's because they've got so many shows they've got to in their mind.
But they can't. If you have 2 shows at all times, you're already too much. People don't have time for that shit. It's a new world.
That's what I think is because they've got the ABC shows, and now they're taking shows from other networks. And
just remember, you may think it's the new streaming era, but to fucking half the population, this is just TV Mark III.
Yeah.
And you need to realize that we're only going to have certain time, and we need to have our lives, and we need to have our fucking time off. So if you keep doing that, we're never going to watch your back catalog then. You need to slow your fucking roll. A little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. You're almost there.
Almost there.
Like, I understand that, like, if She-Hulk's going on and Werewolf by Night comes out, cool. It's a one-shot, understandable. It's got to come out during October. Shit happens. But all 3 happen at the same time is a little fucking much. Yeah. I'm worried I won't have time to watch Werewolf by Night. I'm sure Banyan and then my other buddy, Potato Chucker, will watch it because they fucking love werewolves.
Lower Decks is back. I'm watching that, and there's a couple other things. Oh, I'm watching Superman and Lois right now too. So, But guess what time it is?
Time for John to eat something because he drank too much.
Guys, it is time for the show to end. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate it a lot. Trust me. We are going to... Hey, Painting Dad is on. We're going to send you him. He's doing some Warhammer miniatures. He needs some good follows. If you haven't followed this guy, help him out.
See you, Marshall.
So everything else. Guys, please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. Please look after your health. Please be kind. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Good. Go over and hit that like button on the Painting Dead and tell them Gonzo sent you.
I mean, you can tell them John sent you too. That works.